A killer is still on the loose after beating a Brownwood woman to death. More on the DNA evidence the city is waiting on to help bring them one step closer to getting justice. Plus, this year's Children Arts and Literacy Festival was such a success that preparations are already underway for next year's big event. More on the 3 new sculptures that'll be making their way to the storybook capital.
And after yesterday's rain keeping us cool, we're back to mostly sunny skies and very warm temperatures heading through the rest of the week. The second half hour of Abilene Today starts right now.
From Abilene's first television station, your news in your community. This is KRVC's Abilene Today.
Good morning, I'm Heidi Laga.
And I'm Avery Tomasco. Today is Wednesday, July the 6th.
Here in Abilene Today, we have top stories and weather every 10 minutes coming up during the second half hour of Abilene Today. Coffee Club, we're talking about the social media app Snapchat, how more and more adults are actually downloading and using the app. But first, Avery, let's get a check on our weather on this beautiful Wednesday morning.
Beautiful Wednesday morning, very clear, no rain in sight, so that's a change from yesterday where we had a good rumble of thunder coming through Abilene at this time. So, yeah, good news stepping outside. It's a warm one, though. As you're getting outside, the sun is rising, so here's the temperatures already today, feeling warm, near 80 degrees. Abilene towards Sweetwater as well. A wind south at 10 to 20 miles per hour, actually 22 over there in Sweetwater. That's bringing in some moisture, so dew points up near 72 degrees here in Abilene. You're going to feel that getting outside also towards Sweetwater. Very warm and very muggy, and that's making it feel a few degrees warmer than what you actually see here. So temperatures range from 81 all the way down, down towards the heartland, actually. That's where the coolest temperatures are, at least. Also up towards Knox City. Abilene in there right at 79 degrees. There's those wind speeds. So 22 miles per hour sustained over in Sweetwater. Already had gusts today approaching 25 to 30 miles per hour. A little bit better down towards the heartland, but this is all just bringing in that muggy moisture, which will eventually turn into some rain chances for some. But here's that wind forecast. South all day long. We're not going to change you up too much, but the breeze gets a little bit stiff there in the afternoon, up to 25 to 30 miles per hour are those gusts. And we do see some wind peaking up towards the northwest thanks to some thunderstorms. Speaking of which, here's your future radar forecast. We look up towards the northwest again. This seems to be where the storms are always coming in from. By the afternoon, hottest part of the day, there's some of that activity flaring up, moving towards the east and southeast. That may give a few rumbles of thunder to our northwestern counties. I don't think this lasts too much farther into the central big country, so the rain chances pretty much isolated over there towards the west. All thanks to a low pressure kind of hanging out nearby. Otherwise, it's mostly sunny skies today. So you'll need the water bottle. You need to take your heat precautions because it's temperatures up where 90 degrees and above, closer to 100 degrees up to our northern counties. So new heat advisories have been issued. I'll talk more about those coming up in the next few minutes. Heidi?
Avery, thank you. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The time right now is 6:33. Let's start off with your local news. We're waiting on the DNA evidence connected to the murder of a Brownwood woman who was beaten to death last month. That report is expected to arrive any day now. 25-year-old Rhonda Shantae Blankenship was found murdered about 5 miles from her home near Lake Brownwood on May 15th. Investigators interviewed several people. Some were even given a lie detector test, but the person responsible for her murder is still on the loose. Investigators are relying on this DNA evidence to get them closer to finding their suspect. A $5,000 cash reward is available for information that leads to an arrest in this case. And to read more about the investigation, you can head to our website, baycountryhomepage.com. Cisco residents are signing a petition asking the state for help after they claim the city of Cisco hasn't been cooperative with methods to take water out of the lake. People's homes still underwater a month after flash flooding hit the area, so they're hoping with enough signatures they can get the attention of Governor Greg Abbott. KRVC Shannon Valladolid has more on the story.
I mean, it's kind of like all these people out here at the lake have just been forgotten.
It's been over a month since flash flooding destroyed Ken Martinez's home at Lake Cisco.
And the water at that time was about a foot deep.
With his home still underwater and no hope of getting the city to lower the water levels, Martinez says he had to take matters into his own hands by starting a petition.
Number one priority is get the water pumped down at least enough to where it's not in these houses.
The petition was started on change.org 3 days ago, and it already has close to 200 signatures.
If we can get enough people to sign it, maybe it'll force their hand a little bit and they'll get some water down.
But the water levels aren't the only concern.
There's got to be a way we can put a temporary road around it, because they're saying like a year before they can fix it.
While FEMA has helped other families with damaged homes, they're not able to inspect the ones still underwater.
Well, that could take 2 years depending on rain we get. And he said, well, then it'll be 2 years before I can come back and inspect.
City Mayor James King says the city isn't liable for damage caused by flooding. They just provide the property.
The leases, as I mentioned before, that the city, where the city leases that land to them, doesn't state you can't build below 1520 or you can't build above 1520. It just states that you build at your own risk.
However, Martinez and many others demanding change aren't going to take no for an answer.
When, you know, the governor starts pushing with me and our state representatives push with me, I think they'll have to do something.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for that report. Martinez hopes to get thousands of signatures for this petition to get some change around the area. 551, that's the number of fireworks-related calls that were received by first responders this past holiday weekend.
Abilene Police and Fire, how can I help you?
Yes, we've got a group of about 15 to 20 people. They're out here in the middle of the road lighting off fireworks. Abilene Police and Fire.
Just calling. I know you'll probably get a bunch of these calls about the fireworks and all that.
Are you on the north side or south side?
South side. And they're a bunch of drunken idiots, and they're just chaos.
Those were just two of the many calls APD dispatch answered this weekend. The 551 calls were from July 2nd to yesterday morning, and they tell us that around 30 of those calls were reported by police officers themselves. The Abilene Animal Services Department was also kept very busy responding to calls. We told you last week that the loud popping from the fireworks often scares animals. The shelter took in 173 new animals, and while that's a lot of calls and a lot of new animals in the shelter, it's actually down from years past. Benoit says that the decrease comes largely in part to Facebook groups that help reunite pets with their owners. According to manager Aaron Benoit, during the holiday weekend, they had 87 calls. July 1st, there were 33 calls. On the 2nd, they had 9 calls. The 3rd, there were 10. And the 4th of July, there were 13 calls total. And yesterday, a total of 22 calls.
Where neighborhood groups, whether it be on Facebook or Abilene Lost and Found, has really improved how animals get reunited with their owners. They've made a significant impact this year of getting those animals quickly back to their owners.
Benoit says they respond to about 20 to 30 calls on a Friday through Monday. Some good news for the city of Brownwood. They have a new police chief in town. Terry Nichols has been sworn into office after serving as the member of the San Marcos Police Department for 21 years. Now, we spoke with his former co-workers about what Chief Nichols is going to be bringing to the Brownwood Department.
Bring Brownwood to the level of professionalism that he is and that he knows. His level of ethics and integrity is unmatched, and his work ethic is super strong. So he's going to bring all that to Brownwood, I think.
Chief Nichols was unanimously selected by the mayor and city council back in May, and everyone in town is excited for him to finally start. Today is the day we've been waiting for. The annual Rodney Holder Memorial Blood Drive kicks off today, all in honor of Officer Rodney Holder, who was killed in the line of duty. Officer Holder was an advocate for donating blood, so KRBC's John McMichael spoke to the Holder family on why this event is so important to them.
In 2010, Rodney Holder passed away, but his memory is alive and strong.
He was a wonderful dad, a wonderful husband, and a wonderful friend, a wonderful neighbor.
And the way this family has chosen to honor their fallen hero is with the Rodney Holder Memorial Blood Drive, which is in its 7th year.
Great way to honor Rodney and give back to the community.
Kyler, Rodney's son, remembers that when it first started, there were not many who came to donate, but last year they hit an amazingly high number of donors.
The funny thing about last year was that the total number of donors altogether was 187, and that was also my dad's badge number.
And this, according to the family, is the most donations in one day since 9/11 at the Meek Blood Center, and Wednesday they hope to break it.
Heck, let's go for 300, see what happens.
The Holders are looking forward to the annual rush of volunteers and also honoring Rodney.
Very important to our family that we keep Rodney's name and his face out there, because we really don't want people to forget. And we're very proud of him.
In Abilene, John McMichael, KRBC News.
We're about an hour and 20 minutes away from kicking things off at either the Meek Blood Center or a mobile donation station right here at the KRBC studios for that blood drive, and it's going to be happening until 7 p.m. You have a choice to donate for the guns, being the Abilene Police Department, or the hoses, being the Abilene Fire Department. Avery and I will be out there to kick things off at 8 a.m. The Abilene Cultural Affairs Council held yet another successful Children's Art and Literacy Festival this year. So good that they're already planning for next summer's event. The event is a way to promote young children to keep their minds engaged by reading. Organizers hope to have a lot more workshops since this year all of the events filled up so quickly. This year the dinosaur sculpture was unveiled at the Glow Party, and next year's characters are already in the works.
Be installing sculptures based on Garth Williams because he's so iconic, similar to having a space like our Everman Park for the Sioux sculptures down at the Civic Center. And so then
the project is set to unveil next June with sculptures of Stuart Little, the Three Bears, and Charlotte's Web. The time right now is 6:40, and coming up on Abilene today, no winner means a bigger cash prize at stake. We'll hear what some locals would do if they took home the Mega Millions jackpot after the break.
Our summer heat going to be dying down this weekend, but rain chances going up. I've got your forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Heidi?
But first, here's today's Daily Pledge.
This is the Daily Pledge on KRBC, sponsored by Tom's Tire Pros. For the best selection of tires, expert automotive services, and personalized service that is second to none, let Tom's Tire Pros earn your business today. You're watching KRBC, Abilene's local news, with Heidi Alaga and meteorologist Avery Tomasco.